This video is covered under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, etc.
Running. I showed up and Craddock ran away. What a dick. What a dick. That's pretty bad. I mean, think about it. That is pretty stinking bad right there. That the sheriff of a county is literally running from the father wanting answers about his missing son and why they haven't done anything to help find his son and why their county employees are meeting for lunch with his ex and the stepfather. You know, the stepfather that had 5 CPS calls for the abuse of his stepson, Sebastian Rogers. The county Parks and Rec guy is going to lunch with him. Oh, but there's nothing to see in Sumner County. They're all uppity up there. They're all uppity up there. This is the most corrupt county I can tell you I have had the pleasure of being in. Displeasure of being in. I just want to go out there and I just want to be smug in front of that sheriff's face because I'd love to beg him to arrest me again. Because now I've got a shit ton of attorneys in Tennessee. I'd love to see this sheriff have one of his detectives lie on another affidavit against me again. I would love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. Good for you, Seth. Good for you. You know, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, guys. I try to keep my mouth as PG as possible, but every now and again we go to PG-13 and sometimes rated R language here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. But I can tell you, I really don't like it. I'm trying to change my ways. It's not working, folks. It's not working. So go over there, go to Bullhorn Betty, find those 2 posts and repost them. Repost them and say something needs to be done, Sebastian's Army, something. Because we need to get some attention on this. I'm done with the corruption. I'm done with the slow walking of this case. I'm done with knowing that Chris and Katie have the in with this county and are always never held accountable because they have money and their families are flooding the county with tax money, like the builders that their family, second generation, where Kathy Bowersox works, basically building that whole entire community with impact fees. They've provided millions of dollars for their business to that county and those county officials. This is corrupt as all get out. It's the haves and the have-nots, and they are part of the haves while they have a missing child that was only with the mother. The mother disappeared this child. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, so why is the stepfather smoozing with county officials? Why? And why do I have to ask permission to be on public property handing out a missing boy flyer? Because I'm not doing that. If I want to come there and stand in front of that pig fest and hand out a blessed missing person flyer, I'm going to do that, and I hope everybody else chooses to do that. As a matter of fact, it would surely be nice to see some people in the county standing on the outside of that pig fest handing out flyers and telling that the sheriff, when he comes to say, can you move it down? No, I cannot. This is public property. This is where we choose to stand, and this is where we choose to hand out these flyers. Let the confetti fall. Guys, be careful, because I'm going to be hitting you guys up this afternoon. We need a raise. I can't tell you what it's for. It's not for me. It's not for a vacation, and it's definitely something that this channel will approve. But because of the situation at hand, I cannot say what it's for until after it's done. Okay? But we're going to have to raise, and I have to say I really just need $360 for this. Again, not for me. It's for somebody else. It's for somebody else that you guys will absolutely want to support. But I'm going to have to tell you, you guys are going to have to trust me. I will show receipts after it's all done, but not before it is. And so we've got to raise $400, and we've got to raise it, probably in the next 2 weeks, which I think in 2 weeks, $400 for this channel should be very easy to raise. But still, I know usually I come here and say, I need this for this, and it's usually for something that we need to do as a channel. This is not for this channel at all. This is not for this channel at all. It is for a case we're covering for this channel, but I can't, that's all I can tell you for right now. So if you guys do want the secret project, okay, that's what it's going to be titled. Secret project is our secret operation, our secret project. Let's do secret project. I like secret project. But Mike Hesterin was saying, that's where you're wrong. That's where you guys always get it wrong. There was no confession. There was no confession, right? It's like, okay, let's have a little professionalism there, Mr. Hesterin. You guys know my feelings about this Mike Hesterin and Chad Bianco. They're going to have hell to pay for those comments. At some point, they're going to be held accountable for those comments and how they treated those people inside that room. And I hope I never see that again. Because next time I see that, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up getting on a plane. I'm going to end up going down there. And I'm going to end up being in a part of their press conference. And then I'm just going to lay it down. that's what's going to end up happening. I don't want to do that, but I don't like this public display of unprofessionalism toward something that I honor and respect as being a content creator on social media. And I take that job very, very seriously. And there are a lot of people just like me that equally take this job as serious as I do. And I'm getting sick and tired of law enforcement going up there and treating us like dogs when we are constitutionally protected. And I am going to make a stand here. I'm going to make a stand everywhere across this country. Watch your step. We have rights to be here. We are going to be here. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. And you can lock us all up and you can deal with all the many lawsuits that you're going to get from it. But and I will tell you one thing I will do is I can guarantee if I keep going through this from county to county, I'm going to start suing. And when your taxpayers are sick and tired of paying me, then you guys are going to lose your job. That's what it's going to end up coming down to. So we did just get $50. Our new total for the trip is $265. $265. Dude, you guys are amazing. Perfect. We might have it done this week. Like I was giving ourselves a couple weeks to get it, but we might have this wrapped up in a couple days. Thank you guys. That's amazing. We did just get $50. Our new total for the trip is $265. $265. Dude, you guys are amazing. For a trip, no. I'm not going anywhere. And no. This is for somebody else, and it's not for their trip either. So if you would like to participate, you can. But like I said, and you said you slipped, I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting here. The only thing I'm doing is taking care of my mom when she goes in for surgery. So I don't think I slipped at all because I've got no plans of going anywhere. This is not for me, as I clearly stated. This is not for me. This is not for anything we're doing for the channel. This is for a case that we're covering on this channel and for a specific project for that case. So if you'd like to participate with it, you're more than welcome. But the budget for that was $400 and we're down to $265. If I'm going to go on a trip, trust me, I'll come here and tell my audience I want to go out to this place. I don't have to deceive my audience at all. just to make sure if you're new to this show, I don't deceive my audience at all. If I want to go somewhere, if I want to go to a trip and I don't have the money for it or it's not in the budget, I come here and if they think it's worthy of a trip for me to go to, they're going to come up with the money for me to get out there. I don't have to deceive my public. I don't have to lie to them about anything. We're all in this together and I'm online like every day. There's no way they wouldn't know. Okay. And trust me, if I was wanting to go on vacation, I could promise you I'd want more than $400. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Mama needs some new shoes. But because of this, we've kind of been bedside. I don't know what else to call it. Bedside. We've been bedside for a little while. Okay, it's worse than poolside. I think maybe that's what the next thing needs to be. Well, we're gonna raise money for Bullhorn Betty to have a pool. Okay, we need to be poolside at some point. I'm just joking. We're gonna pick on her today. How the hell do you not like pancakes? No, I'm just joking. Some people can't eat them. I understand, for medical reasons, and maybe they just don't like the bread and sweet goodness and just ooey gooey goodness of a pancake. I get it, Robin. I get you're a little different. Okay, we love different over here. We can handle it. I'm just saying we can handle it. We like your kind. Okay. Even though we think you're a little weird, like the people that don't eat meat. Oh, I'm just joking. Okay, don't. I know we got some people. I don't want my non-meat eaters to come in here and start attacking me. It's just a joke. I promise. I still look at you funny. Okay, I won't lie. Okay, I have a problem. I can't lie. No. Love pancakes and butter. I know. Now we're all getting freaking hungry. Okay, Betty, get back. Focus, lady. Okay, I'm focused. All right, we're back at it. Are we still talking about pancakes? Guys, the pancake breakfast is over. It's over. We're done. We are doing a secret project. I'm only doing funding for the secret project live. We had a $400. It was $400. We actually raised a boatload yesterday. We're down to $225 on the secret project. So this is a secret project yesterday that I told you guys about. I can't tell you anything about it until after the project is over. But it's not for me. It's not for anything to do with me going anywhere or anything like that. It's something completely different. But again, I can't tell you what it is until it's over, and you're going to have to trust me. Some people don't trust people. I get it. I'm fine with it. Yeah, Betty. Yeah, Betty. Betty. Okay. So we found out that this director of Parks and Recreations was actually meeting with Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot for lunch that day. Maybe it was just Chris. Maybe it was both. I don't know. It was still at least a Proudfoot. It was either Chris and or Katie. So what? We've got county officials now advising the public to reach out to private citizens for permission for government property. Nothing to see over here at all. Nothing to see over here at all. Sumner County, we can't even stand you, let alone having to go and ask people that abused a child for permission to pass around the missing flyer of their missing child that they disappeared. We're going to them to ask them permission? Have you lost your flippin' mind? I would like this park, maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe Bullhorn Betty needs to call down to the Park and Recreations and ask this Yahoo what in the he's thinking. I would like to know what capacity that Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, Kathy Bowersox, or Terry Bowersox has anything to do with public business in that county. Do they work for the county? Are they receiving funds from the county? Are they supporting the county? Are they giving funds to the county? Are they paying for them not being arrested? Because the appearance of impropriety in this county is glaring. It's glaring. Let me tell you, Sumner County, I will not ask Chris and Katie for permission to do jack shit on your public property. And I'm going to tell my audience, if they want to pass out blessed flyers on public property, they can. And if we have to sponsor more attorneys for your blessed county, by God, we will. If we need to take the whole damn county, your rotten, stinking county, to federal court, we will. We're over it. No, we will not ask these assholes permission. We don't even want to ask you permission because you're part of the a-holes. It says that Mr. Gilly told her that he was going to lunch with the Proudfoots. And he would have to have their permission along with the Bowersox permission. And then it would be up to the Sheriff Craddock. No, it's not up to Sheriff Craddock. I've proved that point. It's not even up to the frickin' judges. You know why? Because I've already proved that point. What did I say? What the hell do you think your attorney, your judges, or your sheriff's going to do to Bullhorn Betty? I follow the law. I do it with skill. I always have my cameras running. And they try to intimidate me, but guess what? Bullhorn Betty's free, isn't she? She still comes back in that county. She still stays here in the state of Florida. She still does hashtag Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Katie Lynn Proudfoot. What did they accomplish? A whole bunch of nothing because they're a bunch of failures from the top down. From the top down. So if you want to go out there and pass out flyers, we will go ahead and get an attorney on retainer. Or maybe I'll use the money for a retainer. We're going to have to do something, but do not trust any attorney. And I'm going to tell you this. If you live in Sumner County, you need to be getting your attorneys elsewhere. All those Sumner County attorneys are commingled together, and they will slice your throat to keep their reputation with a judge. They have no integrity whatsoever. At least that's my experience with Terry Frizzell. If you guys, I would tell you, I was ready to file a malpractice suit against him. That's how bad it got. I opted not to because I got enough things going in. He's very, very lucky, but I'm going to trash his name. And Terry Frizzell, if you want to sue me for disparaging your name, you can do that right here in the state of Florida. I welcome you here. I welcome you to my stomping ground, you piece of shit. You are?
Warning, bullshit alert.
They're corrupt in that county. Everybody's corrupt. He tried to work with the state attorney to shut my mouth, and I said, I'm hiring you to keep my mouth open. So he didn't want to play games, or he didn't want to play ball, he wanted to play games. So I would say if you're in Sumner County and you need civil help, I would run from Terry Frizzell's office. Literally run. He damaged me. He's lucky he's not being sued by me. But maybe if I trash his name enough, he's going to get those big balls that he didn't have for me to come down here in Florida to sue me. And I welcome him doing that. I welcome him doing that. He is probably by far one of the worst attorneys that I know in Hendersonville. And not only that, he used to be law enforcement in Hendersonville. So that should tell you right there. You got a crappy attorney that came from law enforcement, and law enforcement ain't doing shit for this case. That should be your first telltale sign that they've had criminal problems in their county for a long time, because it's a good old boys club. They only arrest the people they want to arrest. They let all their friends walk, even on disappearing a child, which could possibly be a homicide for all we know. And they're just buddies with people that could murder a kid. You know? And I just don't get it. And that's the sheriff and the corrupt politicians all throughout Sumner County. Let me read this to you guys. We understand how deeply the community and the media cares about baby Emmanuel and are eager for information about this case. We share your desires for justice and your desires for transparency. However, there has been a significant amount of misinformation circulating in the media and on social media, which can be confusing and frustrating for everyone. Please know that we are committed to providing accurate information. Also, please understand that we are bound by legal and ethical responsibilities that prevent us from sharing detailed case information publicly. These responsibilities are in place to avoid making statements that could influence the case, prejudice the fairness of the court proceeding, or impede the goal we all share for justice for baby Emmanuel. We kindly ask for your patience and understanding and trust that the accurate facts will be shared through appropriate official updates in due time. Spreading false information or rushing to conclusion can ultimately hinder the investigation and impact the court proceedings, which are essential to receiving justice. First of all, let me tell you, I don't know who this is. This is, of course, coming from Riverside District Attorney. So, Mr. Mike Hestrin. Mr. Mike Hestrin. First of all, I've been around the block a time or two, and I know that misinformation, if you just ignore misinformation and just worry about your case, you don't have to worry about anything, because it's about the jury inside that case as opposed to outside. If they're saying you're poisoning the jury pool, well, welcome to media, which has been around since our Constitution. Okay? So this idea of bleeding hearts and bullcrap, like, if you want things to be different and you can't say it, but you don't want people talking about it, all you're doing is creating more chaos and vitriol against the DA's office with this. Knock it off. We don't need to be told what to do. You don't tell us what to do out here. You do your business behind those scenes. We'll do our business out here. If there's misinformation that you can't talk about, well, then don't talk about it. You don't need to clarify it. You don't need to update it. You don't need to do anything. Give us the information when it comes out. But this idea that you want everybody to stop talking about it because of your precious court case, that's not going to happen, which hasn't happened since court TV was invented. Thank you, Vinnie Boliden. I think he was the inventor of it. Maybe not. I don't know. He's the only one I've ever seen. So they've been having to work with media since our Constitution was invented, okay? Law enforcement has. And this idea that all of a sudden they can't handle the flipping news, I'm done. I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear it no more. Either work with us or quit bitching about it. It's that simple. It's that simple. Anybody that that's in a public office, I'm just going to make this, anybody that's in a public office that complains about social media and everything else like that, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to start campaigning against you. I want you out of government. If you can't handle social media, you don't deserve a public position, okay? So if I hear any more governors, any more police officers, any more DAs bitching about social media, I'm going to start working to campaign to get them out of office. We need people that can know how to work in today's environment. And if they're so out of touch that they cannot work in today's environment, they don't need their job. That's the way I'm looking at it. We need people that know how to work in today's environment, okay? Without sending out press releases bitching about social media. If you haven't noticed, we're in a country where we have freedoms of speech. Maybe honor that. Jeez Louise, these people got some nerve. Mike Hestrin, I'm Bullhorn Betty. You're a DA. I'm certain that you can probably find my number. Call me, leave me a message. I'll call you back, and me and you can have a talk. If I'm providing such misinformation, look up my number, give me a call like a big old boy, okay? Like a big boy. Okay? This right here is sounding like a 2-year-old. Okay? We definitely want baby Emmanuel's justice. But if you're not going to give us the information, we're going to go find it ourselves. We're not standing down. We're not going to be posting what you want us to post. Either give us the information or something to keep our people entertained with this stuff, information flowing and this baby story alive, or just stop writing. Quit being a keyboard warrior, okay? You guys are doing some major damage to yourselves. You guys aren't good keyboard warriors, okay? Leave the keyboard warriors to the warriors, all right? You're not good at the job, okay, Cupcake? Thank you for your service. Let's focus on baby Emmanuel. Don't be worrying about Bullhorn Betty. Don't be worrying about Ahmed. Don't be worrying about the other 100,000 content creators covering this case.
You know, Sebastian Rogers, until Eric Craddock's out of office, that case isn't going anywhere because he's got friends that are most likely going to go to jail for a really long time. And so I have no faith in that case. Hawkins County still has, you know, Ronnie Lawson, another corrupt situation, and I don't anticipate that we're having anything in that. They're going to wait until this girl's gone for 7 years. And you know what? After 7 years, I think the public, I think we, the people, can petition the court. Her parents won't. But I think we, the people, can petition the court for her to be found deceased. And once she's found deceased, they're going to have to arrest the parents. So, because, you know, that's the only things, like these counties in Tennessee, the people that run them, they're not very educated. They're not very smart. And we have to start realizing that. And I think that's what the main problem is. Warm for you. Just get her. You know, well, there's some things that go along with it. First of all, you know, I did take her to the vet when she was a puppy, and of course, the minute I get there, they want to put her on chemicals. You know, they want to put her on, you know, heartworm medication and stuff like that. I'm like, well, doc, you know, let's just get her through whatever vaccine she's. I want parvo. I want rabies. You know, and a distemperament, like just the basic stuff, okay? And she's like, well, you know, heartworms. I said, look. She's inside. I get the heartworm stuff. She's like 4, you know, at this time, I think she's like 3 or 4 months old. Maybe, I don't even know if she's that old. I can't remember what I took her. But I took her there, and the minute they get in there, they're wanting to give her medicine, and it's just like, let her get a freaking year old, before you start pumping her body. I said, she's like, well, just preventative. I said, I get it, doc. I said, well, if need be, we'll take a heartworm test. Why don't I just go ahead? So you're okay, doc, okay? I'll go ahead and pay for the heartworm test so you make sure that she doesn't have heartworms, okay? But we're not putting her on heartworm medication. And then I said, after she gets to like maybe a year, maybe I'll consider it at that time. I said, there's no guarantee I'm going to consider it.
And I want to say, because somebody brought up the mob crew, I put my stuff in there. Every time I get an unauthorized or fake, what I call fake, that means it's not saturated in what the law is designed for, I file an FBI complaint, and I end up fighting and sending that over to the copyright, because what I need to do is show that there is abuse of the system. So not only am I doing the FBI report, I'm taking all of that and I'm actually sending it over to the copyright judges and people that create the laws to show them this huge problem that's happening. So I do anticipate changes coming to that system. But my suggestion would be, you can do several different things. It depends on how much what he wants to do here. But I always believe that reports have to be filed with the FBI. It just creates a great paper trail, so that there's that I3C, whatever, the white collar crime thing. You can put the stuff there. You can attach stuff to it. You can put links. And even on those forms, they give you an IP address of where that IP address came from. I always attach that into the FBI complaint. Now, again, this is just to create a paper trail, because I eventually am going to be going after all of these people in due time. Within statutes of limitations, but they keep constantly making these same mistakes. So my statutes of limitations always keep resetting themselves. So, well, all I'm doing is that. Now, what he can do is he can actually go to his local attorney or courts, and he can file a preliminary injunction against SF. Because in reality, he doesn't have any addresses or any information on him. He can do the preliminary injunction, the temporary preliminary injunction, and then he can get a subpoena and start subpoenaing those records from SF to find his full name, his address, his company name. And then I would start taking all of that information and start sending it out to his licensure. Okay, because they don't know he's doing this stuff, and sometimes this goes against their professionalism clauses. So I'll send all that stuff when I know it's him and I can prove it's him. I send all that stuff over to all of the licensing boards. Once the licensing boards get wind of all of this, especially Mob Crew has more very specific threats and other things, he would be more effective at filing the complaints and stuff like that with the licensing board. But I'm very public about it. SF tries to come after me all the time. He's already came after me under an assumed name, a woman. And filed that. I ended up having to get the FBI involved and the copyright courts. It got to the point where if he filed one more thing at the copyright court, they were going to arrest him. And I can tell you that. He never responded back. He probably saved himself from an arrest, but we were waiting for that one response left, and he was getting arrested. And he stopped. So I know that they're onto him, and I know that it is getting to a point where things can happen with SF, but people need to keep pushing the paperwork. And if he's watching, I would just tell, if the unscrupulous PI wants to keep playing, he's playing with fire, because you've done this so many times that, it's getting to the point where you will eventually, all this evidence that has accumulated, like, I have a file on you, all of this evidence for 3 years, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And he can just stay and just deal with it like we have to. Like, nobody's been bullied on these platforms more than Bullhorn Betty, period. And if I can survive without, going and trying to destroy people's channels and all this other stuff, certainly he can too, unless he's just a bonehead that literally wants to push the envelope until he is arrested. Because I'm telling you, he's messing with federal law. Like, we had him almost dead to rights. We were waiting for literally one more response to the copyright board. And he never sent the paperwork in, and he saved himself. That's how close he came. So I know I don't talk about that very often, but that's how close he came. And that was over the Layla Santinello case. That was it. But he took it all the way. He literally filed. And not only that, he didn't use anything to protect anything. So it was clear that it was him doing all the work. And like I said, you got to be careful. But that's what I would suggest, and hopefully SF just stands down and just deals with people. At the end of the day, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing is deceptive. And he's trying to destroy people's channel for pointing out his deception. And I'm sorry, that's just wrong. That is just wrong. We are commentating channels. We have a right to bring this stuff up under fair use. The laws are very, very clear. And, I just don't play anymore. Anytime it goes off to the FBI. It goes off to the FBI. And if I need to file suit here locally, I will do that. I'm already working on something else, right now. So it's like, What do you do? What do you do? I just wish people would quit trying to destroy people's channels and cause them financial damage. I'm telling you, when it goes to court and they see this, I don't think the courts are going to be very gracious. I know the courts here, let me just put it like this. I know the courts here in Florida are not gracious at all, okay? Now, in other states, do they follow the law exactly the same? Is it presented exactly the same? That's for whatever goes on in those courts. But I know that here in Florida, you start screwing with somebody's business and money, you get yourself in a lot of trouble. So just FYI, it's not cool. It's not cool. We call her Chlamydia. We don't use her name in our chat. She's Chlamydia. Have you guys seen how dirty her toilet is? Yes, we had a shot of her toilet. It was disgusting. Like literally that fat cow, you needed a freaking chisel to get the grime. I mean, how any woman would put their ass on that seat is beyond me. But we're not going to go there. I mean, we know that YouTube has a lot of dirty, nasty people in it, but you would think people could identify that. Like, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how poor you are. There is no reason that you have to be filthy. Sorry, not sorry. Okay? We got a lot of fluffy women in this chat, and I'm telling you, none of my fluffy women would ever sit on that toilet. I used to be a fluffy woman. Many people that are on my show remember me when I was a fluffy woman. I was cutting almost 200 pounds. Okay? Yeah, it's exactly. But, what I'm trying to say is people are probably going to say, oh, well, she's lazy or this, that, and the other. Just because you're heavy has nothing to do with lazy. There's a lot of medical conditions and everything else. One of my friends, she was having problems eating. She had a thyroid problem. And she would literally gain weight for drinking water. Like her body was so swollen before they finally started putting her on medication to get some of that fluid out of her body. But I didn't realize how, there's just a lot of things. But it doesn't have to be with lazy. And it doesn't even matter. Just because you have things going on doesn't mean that you have to live filthy. And she's got scarecrow. You got 2 grown-ass adults that can't even scrub a toilet. Who would put that on a show? It was disgusting. It was disgusting. I'm sorry. I'm a little ish. And I'm a slob. I am a slob. I'm not a dirty slob. I'm not a filthy slob, but I'm a slob. Ask the real me too. She'll tell you my stuff is clean, but it's everywhere. Right? When I come in, I'm a slob.
All right, that about covers it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure to turn your bell notifications on. Until next time, be well.